Hello. Right, it's been a quite a while since I've done one solo. Sam is unable to join us. He is doing big moves, so is I'm gonna go solo dolo for a little while. I think he's good to go tomorrow. He said. I forgot, but it's one of those two. I'm just gonna talk about a couple of topics that I want to talk about. I'm just gonna talk about Liver King, then Brittney Griner, then TYT's stupid reaction to Britney's release. There's gonna be a video reaction to that one, and then after that, I'm probably gonna end the stream, and I'm gonna have some Olympia picks, bodybuilding picks. But I'm gonna do two separate streams for that because I know that some people are not really interested in the Olympia or any of that stuff or bodybuilding in general, especially on this channel. This channel is not really a bodybuilding channel or fitness at all. So I'm gonna do that separately, just for myself, just to keep a record of it, and yeah, just for my personal enjoyment. And yeah, so okay, so let's talk about the Liver King. So the Liver King came out about about a week ago. Let me see if I can go to my Instagram real quick because he had a whole apology explaining himself. So if you guys don't know, the Liver King is basically some guy that blew up not even that long ago. I think he blew up maybe like a year ago. Let me just share my screen. I think he blew up maybe like about a year ago, and his whole thing was that he only ate liver. That was the gimmick. He only ate liver. It was basically this guy. That's all he did. Liver is king. He only ate raw food, not liver. He just only ate raw food. That's all he preached. He talked about his supplements a little bit. And for a while, people were speculating if it was natural or not. That was the big discussion. But what happens is that with a lot of these natural guys, there's never any proof until a person on YouTube. I'm wondering if you guys are still seeing my screen or you guys are stuck with. Oh, you guys are not seeing anything now. Go back. Go here. Oh, look, I'm live. Liver King, Liver King, Liver King, Liver King. Eric, Eric. No, score more plates, more dates. Then this guy called uh, More Plates, More Dates, aka Derek, exposed him. He had the whole truth. He had emails, etc., talking about his cycle use. I believe he got into it. We're not gonna watch that video; it's an hour-long video. But I'm gonna get to just the point of the things that I want to talk about. Right? I personally don't see it as a big deal. Right? I think the only reason this was a big deal is because he's the only person that was caught using steroids. Because the reality is there are a bunch of people that use steroids. And when I say a bunch of people, I'm not specifically talking about the fitness industry, even if he was. I am talking about actors, Chris Hemsworth, The Rock, WWE. I'm talking about NBA, NFL, UFC, MLB. All of those guys are in some sort of type of steroids, some sort of, right? Because steroids is not only used for building muscle, right? Like steroids is not just for I want to be a bodybuilder and I want to compete or I want to have six pack abs in the summer. It's literally for recovery, bone density, a bunch of other stuff that I don't even know about, but it can help you in a bunch of ways. So, if you're an NBA player and you rupture your Achilles and it takes you, I don't know, a year to recover, why wouldn't you take steroids? Especially when I'm pretty sure you're not going to be tested for a little while. You're going to use your steroids for recovery. And even during gameplay, I'm pretty sure some of them are on steroids. I'm pretty sure NFL players are on steroids. I'm 100% sure MLB players at some point of their career, they use steroids just because I know certain people that were trying to join the MLB and they talked about their experience when they needed to bulk up. And they recommended steroids and started taking steroids to bulk up. Right. So to me, the whole Liver King situation is just he's the first guy that got caught, right? Because I think if The Rock would have been caught with steroids, if there would been emails and all this other stuff, I think that would have been a big deal, right? And yeah, so then let's talk about his apology real quick, because that's why I think people are making it a big deal, just the whole steroid thing. But let's see if I find his apology, unless he took it down. Nope, no, here it is. And I don't think this is his whole apology either, but. No, you gotta be kidding me. I gotta log in. I can't I just watch his fucking apology? Wow, let me go on YouTube. There you go.
Primals, I'm making this video to apologize. Because I fucked up. Because I'm embarrassed and ashamed. Because I lied. And I misled a lot. I stated that this is a complicated as fuck topic, at least to me it is, because before social media, I was rich and anonymous. And after social media, I'm still rich, but no longer anonymous. And I never expected this kind of exposure in the public eye. It's been tricky as fuck to navigate. Well, clearly I did it wrong. And I'm here now to set the record straight. Yes, I've done steroids. And yes, I'm on steroids, monitored and managed by a trained hormone clinician. Liver King, the public figure, was an experiment to spread the message, to bring awareness to the 4,000 people a day who kill themselves. The 80,000 people a day that try to kill themselves. Our people are hurting at record rates with depression, autoimmune, anxiety, infertility, low ambition in life. Our young men are hurting the most, feeling lost, weak.
Okay, so this is what I have to say about this. Because I'm not even, this is where I think he starts fucking up with his apology, where he starts messing up. In my opinion, an apology should be quick and to the point. I think it should be you saying, I am sorry. You mentioned what you did. And I think you should add, why do you now see that what you did was wrong? Explaining, right? Mention it. Say, what I did was wrong because, X, Y, and Z. Go through it, right? So that people know that you realize and understand why what you did was wrong. When you start giving reasons, what ends up happening is that people just see them as excuses. So what you should do is wait until the person asks you why. You're apologizing. Do you think you say sorry? Because at the end of the day, that's all you could do. That's all he could do. But this apology, and I'm not gonna show the whole thing. He starts saying, "I did it because of X. I did it because of the guys that clean themselves. I did it because of the men that don't have energy. For the men that have health problems. That has nothing to do with you taking steroids. So you bringing that up just seems like an excuse. Although even and the reality is that, look, you can make the perfect apology to someone. It doesn't mean they're gonna forgive you. All you can do is just say sorry and move on. Listen, I did what I did. I am sorry. This is why I'm sorry. This is why I realized what I did was wrong. And then you say sorry, and then you hope that the person forgives you. If the person asks you why you did what you did, then you can add, well, I did it because I don't know what the hell he thinks. He lied. I think he goes more into it in the Andrew Schulz podcast. He has the whole interview, but he explains what actually happened. Yeah, and that's it. That's another portion segment. I think that's what apology should be. I think that's why he's not getting a lot of credit. He's getting a lot of pushback. People don't believe him because it feels like he was using the whole people ending themselves as a cover up. Now, when someone asks you why you did what you did, then is when it seems more natural for you to say, hey, I did it because X, Y, and Z, like he did in the Andrew Schulz podcast, Flagrant. You know, talk about 2 points. He talks about how basically, how basically he had to double down. And the reason he had to double down is because in reality, a lot of people who take steroids are not comfortable having this conversation. They're not comfortable talking about what they use or, what they use, when they use it, where they got it. This is not a conversation that comes easily to them. And it's not because they want to deceive you. It's not because they want to lie to you. It's not because, they have any evil in their heart. It's just an uncomfortable conversation to have for them. So I can understand that for him, maybe he was caught off guard. Maybe he knew it was coming eventually. Someone was going to ask him, and he panicked and said no because he wasn't ready to talk about it. Especially with millions of people, because again, he blew up. Not excusing him, but I can understand the logic because this is something that I see with other people that, use steroids. Especially when you're talking to someone that doesn't understand what you do, and especially when you talk to someone that already has preconceived notions of it, right? It already has it's taboo. It's not something you talk about really, easily. So I understand that maybe he felt judged and he just felt like, well, I just gotta lie. I'm just gonna say no, and then he's gonna be asked on Instagram on his on the DMs, like he said, and he's gonna say no there, so he's doubling down there. Then he's gonna go on the podcast and they're gonna ask him up front, and he's gonna be like, "Oh no, I didn't." And before you know, you quadruple, all the things that he said. He kept lying. That makes sense to me. So I understand why he lied. A second reason that he mentioned was the cheating, right? Like if you use steroids, people will say, "Well, you're cheating," and he mentioned, "Well, why am I cheating? Who am I cheating for you to say that it's cheating?" Again, I can understand that view because that's something that I see a lot, especially when you're in your bodybuilders and non bodybuilders. And I've heard this before. They see steroids as cheating, and they see it as cheating because you got somewhere where you couldn't get on your own, which you're never going to get there naturally, regardless, right? If you're using steroids, like Ronnie Coleman or Arnold, they become who they are without the steroids. So people see it cheating from that perspective, but I get his point. It's like, well, people are going to judge me. They're going to think bad of me, and they're going to think I'm cheating, and they're going to think that what I'm doing is not working. And yeah, I mean, I can see why he lied. I don't agree. I think that if he would just come out and said, look, I'm taking steroids, but this is what I do on a daily basis for my health markers and all the other stuff, I think it would have worked better for him. But the whole lying thing just messed him up. But I think it's because if you really think about it, all these movie stars, NBA players, NFL players, UFC players, they'll take steroids, right? But they don't talk about it. And yeah, it's just taboo. Maybe we didn't make it taboo. Maybe we didn't judge people right away. Maybe people like The Rock, Chris Hemsworth, yeah, maybe they would. Oh shit! I'm over here getting distracted. Maybe those people would come out clean. Maybe more people will come out clean, and this wouldn't be that big of a deal. So those are my thoughts on the Lyric King. I don't really watch his content. I don't watch his content. What am I saying? I watch clips of it. It's wild. It's cool. It's not my type of. Yeah, I don't really care for him, nonetheless. But seeing all these people coming out of nowhere, being like, yeah, always news. Like, yeah, like, do you just hopping on the train? That's just my thoughts. So, okay, next topic, real quick. Let's talk about Brittney Griner. Brittney Griner was a WNBA player that was caught using, I believe it was an oil in Russia. She plays in Russia during the off season, I believe, and in Russia the substance is illegal. Right. So she was caught, she was tried, and she went to jail. I forgot how many years she got. It was a crazy amount. But let me see if I can. When the computer does this. Brittney. Yeah, so Brittney was going to get 9 years in a Russian jail. She got out because the U.S. made a trade with. What is it? Was like, who did the U.S. trade? Who did the USA trade for? Okay. I'm gonna show you my screen instead of you guys just seeing my face. But there you go. Okay, so so they traded Victor Boots for Brittney. They used called the Merchant of Death. There were a bunch of interviews with CNN and a bunch of broadcasts. I believe it was CNN or like MSNBC. I forgot who, but basically calling him one of the worst people on earth. People basically going out of their way and saying that it was a horrible trade. Um, I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. If Brittany was my daughter, if she was my family members, let's not act like you wouldn't want your family member to come home. I believe people were sharing a picture of a U.S. Marine who's stuck in Russia, but I heard I didn't do any research on him. Apparently, he's like honorably discharged or something. I don't think it's honorable discharge, but he's discharged. It's not like he's an angel, right? Like people on the right are making it seem like it's like there was an angel in Russia and they traded it for this WNBA player that got caught with weed you know like it's the right being as hyperbolic as possible. Oh, please shut up. Who I can't believe like they're talking about fucking, yeah. Okay, let me see. So this is what I'm gonna do. I decided to have a different, here for someone different, someone different. Like I listened to Louder with Crowder for a little bit on it. Not a big fan of the guy, but I just want to listen to his perspective. He basically disagrees with it. He made fun of it. He said it was a horrible trade, a horrible idea. And then I decided to go to TYT to check out what they were saying. And like always, they just disappoint me. Like TYT rarely has a W. It's nothing but L's for them, especially now more than ever. Okay, I'm not gonna find this thing, so I'm gonna go TYT Brittney. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is what we're gonna watch. And look, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be not gonna be on their side because I'm gonna skip to the part that I want to talk about, and I think I bookmarked it. What a horrible! I mean, I don't want to say it's horrible. It's not. It's not demean myself. It's not demean myself, boys. 608. 608. Here we go. Okay. Let's listen to TYT's take on Brittney Griner. Coming on now.
Address the spoiled, entitled brat comment because Brittney Griner would go play basketball in Russia because the pay for the WNBA is so abysmal here.
See, this is where Anna is referring to some comments made by another host, right? Let me rewind it.
Because Brittney Griner.
Why don't you leave? That's what the right wing always says.
Let's also just address the spoiled, entitled brat.
Spoiled, entitled brat. This host, wherever. Let me see if I go back and I find a list picture of the goddamn person they're referring to.
Well, you know what?
She basically are spoiled brat, whatever. This is what I freaking hate when it comes to this conversation with the WNBA. The WNBA makes no freaking money. They don't make money. The NBA pays the WNBA. They pay them to stay afloat because without the WNBA, they wouldn't make they don't make profit. There was this video that this guy did on YouTube. I'm pretty sure you guys can look it up. But he basically went up to women and they asked him, like, hey, do you believe that WNBA players should get paid as much as NBA players? And all the girls say, yes, of course. It's a horrible system that we live in, yada, 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 yada. And then he proceeded to ask them, hey, who's your favorite WNBA team? Silence. They all started laughing. Oh my God, you got me there. It's just like, there's a reason you guys don't get paid. So you're a spoiled brat. I mean, look, you decided to go to a foreign country and you thought you can get away with something that you're not allowed to. Maybe she didn't know it was illegal. But, I mean, come on, bro. Like, I just hate Anna. I don't know. Like, I hate them. I hate them both. Let me continue.
Brat comment because Brittney Griner would go play basketball in Russia because the pay for the WNBA is so abysmal here.
Because they don't make no money. They make no money. Like, they make no money. I don't know how many times I gotta repeat it.
In fact, 90 out of 144 WNBA players end up going to Russia during their off season so they can earn enough money to live. But she's an entitled brat, right? She's entitled for being a person who has to live under a system where she has to literally go to a foreign country.
She's entitled because she has to live under a system. Anna makes it seem like she's under a Russian dictatorship, where Brittney Griner is forced, all her money's taken away from her because she's playing in a system that allows her to make a living playing basketball. When, let's be honest, I'm sorry, the WNBA player, they make no money. They don't even take criticism. You can't even tell a WNBA player that they gotta lower the hoop so they can dunk, because they all freaking get offended out of nowhere. I don't know if you guys seen that video, but I think it was T-Mac was asking one of the WNBA players, like, hey, do you think you should lower the rim so that you're able to dunk? And she goes, no, you shouldn't. It's like, yeah, you should, because nobody watches you.
Country to make enough money.
Yeah.
During the off season. Yeah.
During the off season. Like, okay, and at least she's making a living playing basketball. That she doesn't, like, She doesn't really deserve to be made. Let me not say the word deserve. I mean that the WNBA is only afloat because of the NBA. So she's living under a system that is spoiling. What would you call it? Like spoiling or she's living under a system that is helping her make money even though she's not profitable. Something along those lines. You guys get the point.
And
And that's all I want to say about them. TYT, Brittney Griner situation. Like, I'll be honest, I don't really care about Brittney Griner. Like, look, I get it. Like, if she was my niece, if she was my sister, if she was my mother, if she was my significant other, and she was in Russia for some weed, which is horrible that she went to freaking jail for some weed. Can you believe that? For some freaking weed, I think it was like this big, and she got 9 years because of it. It's horrible. You know, that's horrible that happened to her. The whole trade situation. I mean, I don't know what to say about it. Like, do I really care about Brittney Griner and that we released a horrible person? But you know what I mean? Is it? I don't know. I don't know. Do we really care about Brittney Griner that much? The only reason she was probably released is because of this whole like media coverage, and the Biden administration thought like we should like get on top of this because it looks good. That's about it. I don't really like what else am I supposed to say about Brittney. All right, guys, I am done with these two topics. I wanted to talk to Sam about Kanye because he's going off the deep end, but I don't think we're going to talk about that because he's a wild boy, and you know what? Yeah, let's not talk about Kanye. I don't know what's going on with Kanye. That's more of another relationship. That's another like video by itself. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm gonna start another broadcast. Maybe I'll do something else. Right. Thank you for watching, for listening. It's a lot. It's been a hectic. We were supposed to get to like 100. I'm over talking now. We were supposed to get over 100 subs or at 100 by the end of December. I don't know if it's gonna happen. It's just really hectic for the both of us. It's kind of like at the wrong time. He's doing big things. He's moving. He has his own place right now. That's a big move. So it's taking him a while to get accommodated and everything. I'm working two jobs, and it's the holiday season, so you can imagine how everything's going. If I'm live streaming it because we do better when we live stream. If you guys enjoyed me, in a way, weird way of putting it. If you guys enjoy listening to me, or you guys just like what I had to say, or you guys like, you know, this, I don't know. At this point, I'm done. I don't know what else to say. All right, bye, guys.